Jake, Emily, and Ryan were three adventurous friends with a passion for hiking. They decided to climb the mysterious Mountain of Mists, a remote peak surrounded by legends. According to local tales, there was a hidden village at the summit that only appeared when thick mist engulfed the mountain. Despite the chilling stories, their curiosity outweighed their fear. On a bright morning, they began their ascent, fully equipped and brimming with excitement. At the mountain's wooden gate, an old caretaker gave them a warning. "If the mist comes, don't stop, and whatever you do, don't look back." They laughed nervously, brushing it off as an old man's superstition. The first day of their hike was uneventful. The trail to the first checkpoint was easy, surrounded by towering pine trees and birds chirping in harmony. But as the sun began to set, a strange mist rolled in. It was unlike any mist they had ever seen, dense, cold, and carrying an unsettling earthy smell. Like decayed leaves and damp soil, the atmosphere became eerie. Emily felt as though unseen eyes were watching them from the shadows, but she kept silent. That night, they set up camp near the second checkpoint. Around midnight, Ryan woke up to the sound of heavy footsteps outside the tent. Peeking through the tent flap, he saw nothing but the thick mist swirling in the darkness. As he lay back down, he heard a faint whisper near his ear. "Do not go any further." The next morning, they resumed their climb. The trail grew steeper, and the mist lingered stubbornly around them. At one sharp turn, they spotted a set of footprints, large, deep, and definitely not human. "Is there someone else up here?" Emily wondered aloud. But the tracks abruptly ended at the edge of a cliff. There was no other trail, no sign of a jump or a fall. Amid their confusion, Jake picked up an old rusted bell lying near the tracks. Emily felt uneasy and urged them to keep moving, but Jake decided to pocket the bell. As they neared the summit, the mist thickened, forming an impenetrable wall. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a village appeared before them. Wooden houses stood eerily silent, with doors and windows shut tight. There was no sign of life, yet a faint smell of food wafted from one of the homes. "This must be the village from the legends," Ryan said with excitement. Curiosity got the better of them, and they entered one of the houses, hoping to find someone. Inside, they found a dining table set with plates of rotting food. The rest of the house was empty. As they prepared to leave, the door slammed shut behind them. In an old cracked mirror, they saw a shadowy figure standing behind them. Terrified, they ran out of the house, but the village had changed. The buildings seemed to shift and twist, trapping them in an endless maze. In the distance, the sound of a bell echoed, growing louder with every step. Emily began to cry, overwhelmed by fear, while Ryan felt his body growing heavier as if something was dragging him down. Jake tried to lead them out, but every path they took led back to the same spot. Finally, they reached what should have been the village gate, but it was sealed shut. Inscribed above the gate were chilling words: "Those who enter shall never leave." In a desperate attempt to find a way out, Jake remembered the bell he had picked up. He rang it once, and the mist around them darkened, plunging them into total darkness. Distant screams echoed through the air as shadowy figures emerged from the ground. Ryan suddenly collapsed, and black hands began pulling him into the earth. Emily and Jake tried to pull him back, but the shadows were too strong. "I don't want to die here," Ryan screamed before disappearing into the ground. Emily was now hysterical, and the shadowy figures were closing in. With his last ounce of courage, Jake rang the bell again, and everything went black. When Jake and Emily woke up, they were at the base of the mountain. The sky was clear, and there was no sign of the mist. But Ryan was nowhere to be found. When they asked the old caretaker about what had happened, he simply shook his head. "I warned you not to stop or look back. You didn't listen." Determined to find answers, Jake and Emily planned to return to the mountain, but they soon discovered that the trail to the Mountain of Mists had been permanently closed. Strangely, the village they saw was not marked on any map. Since that day, Jake and Emily have been haunted by the sound of a bell ringing in the dead of night, a reminder of the shadows that never truly left them. The end.